Mike Pennacchi here with Network Protocol Specialists LLC, and in this video we're going to be taking a look at iPerf 3 and how we use it for measuring TCP throughput and UDP. Now UDP portions is going to be really important when we're deploying technologies such as voice over IP and streaming video. Alright, let's take a look at how iPerf 3 works and how we can use it to measure throughput for both TCP and UDP. So iPerf requires a client and a server. So in this case, I've got a Linux box running over here. This is an Ubuntu Linux box that I use for network troubleshooting. And I've installed iPerf 3 on that box. So I did a sudo apt-get install iPerf 3. So it's going to come in, it's going to tell me the newest version is already on there. So I really don't need to do much more than that. But that's how we install it on a Linux box. It's really easy. So on this side, I'm going to say iPerf 3 minus S. This is now in server mode. It is listening on port 5201 and it's waiting for a connection. So I'm going to come over here to my Windows box. I've got iPerf 3 installed on that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say iPerf 3 minus C. It's going to run as client mode, 10.0.11.184. That's the IP address of that Linux box. And I hit enter. And we see that's running. So what we see is on the client side, it's telling us what our throughput is. Over here on the server side, it's telling us what our throughput is. And it gives us an overall idea of how many bytes we transferred and about what data rate we got through there. So really not too bad. This is my Windows box is a virtual machine running on my Mac. We're doing pretty good. We're getting, 788 megabits per second in each direction. I'm not going to complain about that. This is TCP. This is a fantastic way to find out what the available bandwidth is. But here's the thing. I don't do just file transfers on my network. I do things like voice over IP and video conferencing. Those use UDP. So I want to see how UDP is going to perform because with UDP I care about things like packet loss and jitter and latency. So let's clear the screen. Not that screen. Let's clear this screen. And let's do an iPerf 3 minus C. And we're going to put in the same IP address. But in this case, I'm going to throw a minus U at the end. I want it to use UDP. So I'm going to hit enter. And let's bring up the other side of this. So what we see is over here on the other side, it is showing us what's happening. We are sending UDP frames at 1 megabit per second. We can see what our jitter is. This is our variation in interpacket arrival time. And we can see what our packet loss looks like. So this gives us an idea of our jitter and our packet loss, two things that very much impact streaming technologies such as voice over IP and video. So the thing is, maybe not everything I do runs at 1 megabit per second. So what I can do is come over here and we'll clear the screen again. We'll rerun that command, but this time I'm going to put a minus B in here. I'm going to say 2M. I'm going to run my UDP traffic at 2 megabits per second. So in this case, it's important for us to do something like capture the voice or video traffic with Wireshark and get an idea of how much bandwidth we need. So here you can see that we're sending our traffic at 2 megabits per second. So TCP works great to find out how much available bandwidth we have and how are things like file transfer is going to run. UDP works really well for ensuring that technologies such as voice over IP and video streaming are going to work well. So I hope you found this tech tip useful. Check out our other tech tips, and we'll see you at the Core IT Pros Conference.